Welcome back, everybody. You're looking at video from the University of Minnesota Duluth men's basketball team. The last couple nights in Topeka, Kansas has been electric for the Bulldogs, who beat the number 1 seed Washburn on their home floor last night in an all-NSIC rematch, or 2 nights ago, in an NSIC rematch. They beat St. Cloud State. Now they got a chance to go to the Elite Eight tonight as they'll take on Oklahoma Baptist for a spot in the final 8 teams of Division II basketball. For the second time in 4 years, the Bulldogs can do that. As we welcome back to our show head coach Justin Wieck, who apparently owns, is that a Holiday Inn? Where are you at in Topeka? Is this your new permanent residence where you've been?
Yeah, Holiday Inn Express. We're actually in Manhattan, Kansas,
Okay.
about an hour away. There's big state wrestling tournament all week, so all the teams are all over the place. So I think we know the hotel staff pretty well. Maybe you need to own some stock here. I think we've been here about 7 days, which is a good problem.
Hey, you know what? That's right. It beats being there a day and then heading back. Tell me about this. We had you on, obviously, right after you won the NSIC tournament. And I know you mentioned to me there, we're playing our best ball. We're trending in this direction. Knowing full well, though, you might get the host seed. Tell me about, let's go back to Saturday night and how you played to beat Washburn on their floor.
Yeah, I mean, just an awesome game by our guys. The place was electric. I mean, Moorhead played there last year.
Yes.
Anybody in your area knows just what that atmosphere is like, and it was as advertised. It was jam packed. They're obviously one of the best teams in the country. So they press, they trap. It's just one of those chaotic games, and we told our guys if we can handle the pressure, we got a chance, and we did. For about 25 minutes, and then there was about a 10-minute stretch. I think they went on a 16-0 run, and that place was as loud as I've ever seen, in my time here. So we got their best shot there in the second half, and then our guys just kind of stuck with it and made some big plays down the stretch.
What was that locker room like afterwards, Justin, winning on their floor? I got to be crazy, I imagine, Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean, it was everything you can possibly imagine. They were karaokeing some songs. We were just going a cappella there for a little bit. Guys were having a great time. So, I told our guys, I don't know how many people thought we had a chance to win, but I know those 16 guys and 4 coaches and guys in our program. When we met Monday morning after selection show, it was like, all right, they, X, Y, Z. But if we do this, we think we got a chance to win. And, it wasn't going to be easy. It was one of the toughest games our guys have played in, obviously. But to just believe in it and be able to prep for 5 or 6 days, I think one of the things that helped us, honestly, was our conference tournament was, got done the previous Tuesday. So we had some time to rest and relax. That was a tough week. And then, even Saturday, we pretty much knew we were going to play them. So we had a full week to get ready. Meanwhile, those guys are battling the MIAA tournament until Sunday at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
So our guys just had a great chance to kind of rest, reset, and then really just deep dive 7-8 days. Get ready for a team that we knew was really good, but we could really focus in on some things. And our guys, I mean, just their toughness and execution of what we're trying to do right now is just off the charts, and so happy for them.
And then, of course, lo and behold, you have another NSIC team waiting for in St. Cloud. But I guess, would that mean the preparation was, quote-unquote, easier since you full know what you were going to get from those guys, right?
Yeah, just from like a coaching prep standpoint, it was exactly what we did 10 days ago. But we knew just with how they're coached and how their guys are, especially after beating them in the conference finals, we were going to get their best shot. And it was as physical of a, rock fight, a brawl, whatever term you want to use. It was as advertised. I think the score was 10-10 with about 8 minutes left in the first half. Both teams knew what we were trying to do. Both teams are super physical. And it was just one of those games where every single bucket mattered. And again, our guys weathered a storm. We were down 14 or 16 in the second half. We weren't doing what we wanted to do. We were giving up offensive rebounds and kind of letting them out physical us, which we've done to teams for the last month. And then just the resolve of our team, they stuck with it. We were in a media timeout, and we kept saying, let's get them to the last 4 minutes in a game, and we got a chance. And I remember we got to that last media with about 3:50 left. It was a 2-point game, and you could just see our guys were believing in, all right, we've weathered the storm. Let's go get this thing done. And, it's a couple big shots here or there. Cywick had one. Owen Leach from DGF, two
DGF.
huge
Yep.
free throws to put us up 3. And you can kind of go down the line. Like it wasn't one guy in that game. Caleb scored 36 on him last time, and that was the story. But everybody had a bucket or two, and that's kind of what it took here on Sunday.
Is this the definition of March, that the 2 games you won by a combined 8 points, like literally survive and advance, right?
Well, it's about time. I've been telling people we were 0-7 in 3-point or less games during the regular season. And then we finally win a 2-point game against Minot in overtime in the first round of the conference tournament. I mean, we're one shot away from being done, 21 days ago, right, in the first round of the tournament. And now we've pretty much won. We've won basically 1 or 2 possession games here, about 5 in a row. So the basketball gods are, I guess, finally evening out, what we went through during the season. But I think it's a lot of the lessons our guys learned. It's the toughness and their resolve of just sticking with it, continuing to work as a team. I'm so happy that they're seeing this, success here down the stretch, because there were some tough times when you're losing by 2, by 3, by 1, and you're going to Mankato, St. Cloud. You're playing good teams,
Right.
but you're losing by 1 possession. It's tough, and sometimes it's tough for guys to stick with it, but our guys have been awesome.
So now it's Oklahoma Baptist tonight, the Bison. Appropriately enough, you get them. But this is a team you and I were just visiting. You have history with, so this isn't an unknown opponent that you're going to get tonight.
Yeah, we randomly played a home and home with them the last 2 years. So we played them 2 years ago down there, and in a just electric environment. It was opening night. We played them opening night, both years. So they're really well coached. They run a lot of stuff. They're super athletic. A lot of times when you play teams from the GAC, you're gonna face an uphill challenge from an athletic standpoint. One of the best offensive rebounding teams we've played this year. They've lost 3 times all year. They're good. They got guys that can really play. The number 8 team in the country. But I think our physicality and our toughness, if we're going to win, needs to win out, and that's going to be a huge challenge, obviously. But we've risen to that challenge here. About 6 or 8 games in a row, and our guys have all the confidence in the world. But again, it's going to be a huge challenge. It's an awesome game. Those guys have never been to this spot. We've got some guys that have been here before, so hopefully our experience and our physicality can win out tonight.
I was going to ask you that, just that experience for yourself personally in this game for the second time in 4 years. How much can that be a factor tonight?
Well, I hope it is. I remember 3 years ago, I'm not sure I could have even had an interview during this day. I was so, you're so worked up and so anxious, and it's the biggest game and all this stuff, and you still have those feelings. But you understand, I thought our guys 3 years ago, we took the fight to them right away, and you could tell in the first 5 minutes. We were playing Southern Nazarene, but a very similar style, athletic, great one-on-one players, offensive rebounders, but we set the tone in those first 5 minutes. So relying on that experience is great. You could talk about it, but at the end of the day, that ball gets tipped up. These guys got to go do it. But we have a couple guys that that were on the floor that night, 3 years ago. So relying on that experience and just the understanding of how we have to play in these games, in the postseason, but especially championship games, anything goes. You guys, anybody can get hot. It takes 5. It takes. These games can take 20 different turns. So trying to go out and really establishing how we want to play right away is going to be huge. And that's been our mission here for the last 48 hours.
How is the support from Duluth in terms of actual boots on the ground? Do you have a nice crowd? I know it's a ways to get where you're at. What has that been like through this past few days?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a pretty good crowd. I think almost all of our families are here. Like everybody, you just kind of win, and then you figure out the next day and figure out work and figure out school back home. But nobody, I don't think anybody went. Nobody went home after the weekend. They're here. They're experiencing Topeka, visiting the Capitol. You name it. There's stuff to do everywhere. But when you play the host team, you've got 60 people of the 2,000 there. You get to Sunday against St. Cloud. It's about 60 people for us, 60 people for them, and it's just a totally different atmosphere, right? So it'll be the same tonight. They're going to have their 60, 75 people. We're going to have ours, and our guys are going to get to settle it on the floor. But anybody that's been to a Duluth game, especially in the postseason, we've got a feisty crowd. We've got a rowdy crowd. Our women did it last night in Mankato. I've heard there might be a couple of people just making that drive down, today. So
Nice.
Basketball's been awesome, especially the last 3 or 4 weeks for us in Duluth. And the only time we both made it to the Elite Eight, we did it in the same season 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So why not do it again here tonight?
Well, I saw a video of Mandy's team watching you guys beat Washburn. What was that like for you to repay and watch them win in Mankato, of all places, against Concordia St. Paul?
Yeah, it was awesome to just see their support. There's so much connection between our program. Obviously, if you would, I think there's some videos. I don't know if we posted them yet, but this lobby and this Holiday Inn Express was going pretty wild last night during their game. Huge comeback in the fourth quarter,
That's
double
awesome.
overtime.
Yeah.
You can imagine all the emotions going back and forth here. And we don't get a chance to experience that very often. We're usually out there being able to control it. They had to just be fans, and you just got to sit here and watch it and cheer like crazy and kind of go through the ups and downs. And it was cool for our guys. It's great for Bulldog Nation and our fans, the support we have from, our fans, our administration, prior administration, people that have been here, the people that have reached out. Basketball is a big deal in Duluth, and we're seeing that again this year.
So I have to ask the typical reporter question here before we go, and you mentioned a little bit, but quick start, is that necessary, or even we have to have that tonight if we want to win?
I mean, it would definitely be preferred. The game's not going to be over 5 minutes into it, but Oklahoma Baptist was down 11-0 to Central Mo, in the semifinals.
Wow.
So you're going to be able to weather it, hopefully. But at the end of the day, in these games, I think we talked about it with the NSIC tournament before. Like, we spent a couple years where, Moorhead just rocked us in the first 10 minutes. Mankato rocked us in the first 10 minutes, and it's a tough thing to come back from. Our guys kept fighting, obviously. So yeah, the start definitely matters. The physicality matters, and hopefully we can get off to a great start this year, tonight.
Appreciate the time, bud. It's great to see you. Thanks so much for doing this, and good luck tonight, all right?
All right. Thanks, Dom. I always appreciate you having me on.
Good to see you, man. There he goes,
Appreciate
Justin
it.
Wieck joining us, University of Minnesota Duluth men's basketball head coach. Bulldogs coming up tonight with Oklahoma Baptist, the Bison. That is at 7 o'clock tonight in Topeka. They've had quite the deal. I remember, I think Bergstrasser told us this last year, too, that they stayed in Manhattan this is the exact same time last year when the Dragons were down there, and they were doing the hour commute back and forth from Manhattan to Topeka for the games. But when you beat the hosts, and we remember that, we did this game a year ago today, actually, when the Dragons played Washburn, and how electric that was. Saturday night, Duluth goes in there, and granted, it's a different Washburn team, and they're still really good. They're the number one team in the region, and you beat them on their floor. Again, you saw the video. I mean, it's family and friends now. That game on, Sunday night when they beat St. Cloud State. I mean, that's what they're going to have tonight for Oklahoma Baptist. It's not going to be that packed an environment. Now it's a coin flip game for them to get there. And off of his point, before we go to break, if they're able to do this and pair that with what the Duluth women did last night, 2 times in 4 years that both make the Elite Eight, you're humming as a basketball program for both on the men's and women's side. So we'll see. We'll be following that tonight. I have coverage of that tomorrow. We'll see if they can make it. The Elite Eight is in Indianapolis for the Division II men's basketball tournament. We'll take our final break. We come back. We'll wrap things up. Get you ready. We got a busy Sports Tuesday on tap, including the opening of the NCAA tournament. That's coming up when Hot Mike wraps after this.